Alright, welcome back to EconTruth.com. This is the final video blog that's going to address the broken windows story. Now, the story was already told. If you ought to watch that blog first if you haven't, to understand the actual story. And this is the third lesson, I guess, to be drawn from the broken windows story. The first lesson was kind of the surface lesson, which is that destroying something for the purpose of rebuilding it is bad policy, economically speaking. The second lesson was that just because something doesn't exist doesn't mean that you don't consider it. You still have to consider like what wasn't produced in order to produce whatever it was that was produced. And this third lesson is really broad, and it's a lesson that I'm sure this is going to come up a lot more in a lot of the different things that I'm going to talk about. But it's the not understanding what is the goal of our actions. And so it's like looking at something so detailed that you forget what is the real goal of what we're doing. And I mean, if that isn't broad, that's extremely broad. But what I'm talking about is, in the story, in the broken window story, is the thinking, the fallacy is the thinking that if only we just spent money to buy something and then created this demand for this something, and then somebody then had to like spend productive effort to make this something, then that's going to be good for our economy. But that's missing the boat entirely. It's not about the spending money on something and the producing something. It's about what does that something do for your life? Does that something make your life better, or does it not make your life better? And so, like, you know, it's the breaking the guy's window and then making him spend money on something, which in this case is a new window, and then creating this demand for a new window and all this new, you know, these new jobs that are going to be the result of this new demand for this broken window are going to then create this, you know, use their productive effort to make this broken window. And that in and of itself is good for the economy because we had spending on something and we had production of something, and that's the goal, the spending and the production of something, and then that's going to make us prosperous. But it completely misses the boat because in that case, the window didn't help the guy. He didn't need a window. It was all wasted effort. If only you didn't break his window, then he wouldn't have needed that window. And so all of the new demand for this new window and the new production, the new productive effort that was spent to make this window was all for nothing. It was all waste. If only that window hadn't been broken. Plus, you know, if he had bought whatever it was that did help his life, the suit, it would have had the same result. He still would have been producing things, and that's good. I mean, it's not like by default it's bad to produce things or to buy things. I mean, that's dumb. It's not bad by default, but it's not good by default either. It depends on what the something is. What are you getting for your money? What are you getting, like for the consumer, it's how does whatever it is that you're buying, this something, how does it help your life? And for the producer, it's how does the something that you're producing help other people or help yourself? And so this is a theme that we're going to touch on a lot. It's incredibly broad. It's going to come up many times in many more of the different lessons we're going to talk about here. I do want to take a real quick second to just kind of give a little bit of insight to the production of these videos, because this is actually the final one that I'm going to do tonight, and I've watched some of the other ones, and it looks like I'm reading something. I'm not reading anything. I'm here in my bathroom, so we're a pretty low budget operation right now, just getting our foot in the door. And so, you know, this is my bathroom, and I'm looking at the mirror in my, you know, bathroom. There I am. And so this thing is propped up on a little like plastic little drawers system. And so when I'm looking in the mirror, I find it easier to talk to myself. That's basically what I'm doing, is I'm just talking to myself. I find it kind of easy to forget the camera, and so I'll just be looking at myself in the mirror, and so it looks like I'm not, you know, here I'm looking at the camera, now I'm not, so it looks like I'm reading something. There's nothing there. There's no notes even. I just kind of have these ideas, and I might have the theme of what I'm going to talk about, but I don't really know how it's going to work. And you know, like when I started the introduction, I think I had maybe like 10 or 15 takes of the introduction. Just to like understand how difficult this really is, you ought to go and take a camera and set it up and try to talk to it and just sound not like an idiot. And it's not easy. I mean, I'm not doing a good job of it, probably. But so anyway, that's a little bit of background into what's actually going on here. So we'll continue to try to make these videos. The next topic will be a different topic altogether. We'll forget the broken window entirely. I'm sure, you know, the major points of the broken window are still going to come up, and they're still going to show up, and you'll see them all the time when you watch news and when you watch you know, arguments about economic growth, and you'll see it all the time, this idea that, you know, all of the fallacies you'll see it. I think specifically the idea that if only we just bought more something and produced more something, that's going to make our lives better. But it completely misses the point that it's all about whether or not the something actually does make our life better. And that's the goal of economic transactions. That's the real goal, is to make our lives better, to enjoy a standard of living that's higher than would otherwise happen if we didn't do these transactions. And so just doing the transactions is definitely a means to achieving a better life, but that doesn't mean that doing the transactions themselves will like accomplish the goal. That's just the means, that's not the end. And so I guess that's it. You know, watch for more video blogs as we move forward. So have a good one.